first TAMUSA Esports podcast of 2022. My name is Fernando. My major is computer science. My gamer tag is Crimson F9.
I'm Alex. My major is computer science, and my gamer tag is Broken Bull.
Hi, I'm Michael. My major is psychology, and my gamer tag is Palacona.
Hi, my name is Edgar, and I'm a computer science major, and my gamer tag is Noodles.
Hi, my name is Jacob Lopez. My major is business administration, and my gamer tag is Miyuki.
Hi, my name is Casey. My major is English, and my gamer tag is Casey Luna.
Hi, my name is Erica. My major is accounting, and my gamer tag's Floof.
Actually, okay, I'm kind of curious about that. What's the story behind that one? What's up with Floops?
So, back in middle school, I had a lot of seniors bop my head, and every time they bopped it, Floof. So, that's my gamer tag.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So mine is it came from my my PSN, and I was like, what can I make that sounds pretty? Like, I just wanted it to sound pretty, so I was like, okay, if I do, because my initials are KC, but I was like, I don't know, it doesn't look right. So I was like, okay, just sound it out, KC, and then Luna. Actually, I love like space and all that, so the moon is like one of my favorite things. So I was like, but Casey Moon, I don't know. So I was like Casey Luna, and that's
Well, my gamer tag, I mean, there's a long history. My very first gamer tag, Xbox gave it to me, which was Link Awesome 56, and I was like, that's kind of whack. And so then I was like, what are my two favorite animals? Cats and pandas. So then Kitten's Panda arose. And so one of my friends one day was like, hey, yo, KP, how are you doing? And I was like, bro, that sounds so hard. And so then KP was kind of my thing for a while. But then I kind of watched this anime called Irregular Magic High School, and there was this girl in there named Miyuki. And I was like, after I saw her, I was like, all right, I'm changing to Miyuki. So now that's how Miyuki came to be.
Okay. I'm not okay. What's it called? I'm not gonna lie. For me, my gamer tags kind of changed around. I have one little embarrassing thing where it started out. When I was little, when I got like the PlayStation 3, like when we had like the PSN, I didn't know what to put. So my mom helped me out, and she ended up putting her name. So I went by like Rocio09 for a while. Some people thought I was like, I changed it eventually, but I was thinking in my head, some people probably thought I was a girl. I was like, that was bad. God. And then when I got here, I was like, I changed it and all that, and I picked Crimson because I love red. And then F for Fernando, and then 9 because I was born September 9th, like 1999. It's just one little funny thing about I was basically with a thing for a while before I could finally change it.
With that mindset, you don't use any passwords like that, right?
I mean, hey, anyways, now I'm curious about Noodles.
Noodles, mine's actually pretty simple. I just really love noodles. I love ramen noodles a lot. So
What's your favorite noodle?
it's gotta be shoyu.
Oh, yo, he got the name on lock too. All right.
Now, before we get into the next introduction, on the topic of noodles, is there any way that you would create your noodles, or no?
I would definitely choose if I was making it myself. I would go with the tonkotsu, which is the 24-hour pork bone broth, because I've never attempted to make it myself, but when I get it at restaurants, like it's really nice, like the broth.
Yeah, 100%.
So definitely, that's the way I would do it.
All right.
Okay, so before I got Palacona, I had 3 more, like, gamer tags.
Yeah.
So at first, it was just my initials. I have a really long name, so there's 4 initials. And then my birthday is 11/11/01, so it was MGCO11. And then I'm like, that sounds kind of lame. And so I was like, oh, I got to think of an acronym for it. I couldn't think of anything because I was only like 9 at the time. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I like the name Kale because it's the last part of my first name. And then I found out one day it's just a healthy food. So I was like, I don't want that. And then the last one before my current one, it was just Shep. It was short for a shepherd. I was like, man, that sounds really badass. And then people just kept calling me like Shep, and I'm like, I don't like that. And so I had a little bit of an identity crisis, and then
Bro, you talking to me, bro.
He was living a whole different life.
I didn't play online that much though, so it's okay.
And So I played Overwatch 1, and I had like L's before it, but Overwatch makes your name capital, so it was just LLL, Shep, LLL. And I was like, damn, it's like I'm losing. And then so finally, I was sitting there like, what is my favorite thing in the world? Frogs. And I didn't want to do frog, because like that's just so short. And so I was like, I'll do it in my native language. So it's Tagalog, so it's Palaka. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick my last name in there. So it's Palacona. And that's how I got my name.
Dang, that's
That's
fire.
fire.
That's good.
That's fire.
Okay. And for me, my I'm gonna say villain origin story. My gamer tag origin story comes from, so before I had this one, I had 2 names. I had one name. It's a really bad name. It was like Extroyer 989.
Wow.
Don't know why I thought that was cool at the time, but I thought it was super cool, right? But now, right, I forgot when, I think it was a couple years ago, I was starting to get into, what was it, League, I think? I was like, oh, I need a new name, but I don't want to run the same old name I've been running because the name is like cringy. So for me, it was kind of just, I want something cool, but I don't want something that's like I can't use in 5 years, right? And so I just thought about, what do I like, right? And I was like, I like my last name. I hear a lot of people say it's cool. My last name is like Vanderbilt, so it worked out. And I was like, let's just take the bull from that and put something in front of it. And I was like, I don't want anything random. Like, I didn't want like hyper bull, like
Hyperbole.
yeah, like hyperbole. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
That
Right?
is an amazing name.
I want something that flowed. And at first, it was Bull Born Broken, right? And that's actually my name on League, so it's like I have it like that still. But then eventually, when I got here, I was like, I want to dumb it down. And then another name I used for some other stuff was Broken Bull, and so that's how that came to be.
So, as we talking on the topic of gamer tags, now obviously it should feel forward that we need to talk about how you got into gaming. So
Okay, yeah. So for me, I got into gaming more just something to do, like enjoy it when I was little. My dad used to play games, so he was like, "Why not get him a game?"
yeah.
And I don't even remember the console's name, but it was some really small orange and blue like kid console or something like that.
Oh my god.
And I forgot what the game was. I played on that for a bit, and then eventually I got a Game Boy. And I don't know why this was in my house because I was the only person who had a Game Boy.
Yeah.
But like there was like Pokemon Emerald in a drawer. I don't know where it came from.
Pokemon Emerald, really good.
It really was just, I found it and put it in. Like there's a whole save file already on there. I was like, who plays this game? I was so confused. And from there, it just obviously evolved into more games, better games, harder games, all that. So yeah, that's really how I got into games. Just something to do. And I mean, it's helped a lot too. Just in life, really. Just like if I'm ever stressed or if I don't feel like doing something, go play a game.
I started when I was very young. My uncles would just like throw a controller in my hands and then practice combos on me. Or they'd like they'd give they'd run up Halo and then they'd trick shot me in Halo, and I'd just cry all the time. And I'd like, what is going on? Yeah. And then my like very first video game, I was like 6. It was Call of Duty. It was the one like back in World War II, whatever. I think it was like Call of Duty 3, I believe. My uncle was like, really try this one, and I'm like, man, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's like fun, and like all of the terms coming at me, I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about, but I'm just moving, and I like the most vivid memory I have is like when you're on the back of the truck in Call of Duty and this guy's like running, he's like, hey, let me in, and then he just blows up. And I'm like, what the heck? And then, from then on, I just like started playing more and more Call of Duty, and then eventually I'm like, wait, there's other games? And
I started off still in elementary. I remember coming home and they unboxed a Wii, like a brand new Wii, and I think at the time, Super Mario Galaxy came with it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was huge. So it's been like imprinted in my mind. If you know the intro where he like walks through like all the toads and all the flowers. Where he walks through the kingdom. So I remember just like walking in circles, not being able to progress forwards. Just like trying to figure out how to control these things.
That's fair. Did you have like the motion stuff, like where you're like Or
I think it was like the nunchuck. Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just like during, I want to say high school, I had a revival of gaming. I started playing a bootleg of a Smash Brothers game on a laptop, on the school laptop.
Oh.
Yes,
I think I know what you're talking about. Was it the Flash one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. So then finally I got my hands on a real Nintendo console, which is the Nintendo Switch.
I got mine.
And it was just in time for the release of Ultimate.
Oh.
And I didn't really play competitive. I just like kick my friends' butts, and that's it. Like that's as far as I would go.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
And then I started playing competitive around also like senior year.
Yeah.
And that's up until now. I still play competitive.
That's fine.
And he's still kicking his friend's butts. I mean,
Yeah.
I swear, I see that could have happened to me. It could have been me.
What do you mean by that?
Bro.
So, yeah, what about you? What about
Sounds
you?
like a
Okay,
skill
okay.
issue.
Yeah.
Mine's a bit of a long story. For me, when I was little, I didn't get into games until like I saw my cousin play, but I never got into it. I'm more outside. It was until I got cancer, and then because I was stuck in the hospital for at least like a year.
Yeah.
So one of the things that happened in there was like I was kind of bored, and there's like not much to do there. At least on the days that when you were feeling better. So they had a bunch of gaming consoles that they would give to the kids if they were feeling good for it.
Yeah.
So that's where I actually played like the PlayStation 2 for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, at first I didn't know what to do. So then I started playing like Jack and Dexter. So I love playing that so much, and I got into it, and also Sly Cooper. But it was an interesting experience because I didn't even I saw them, but there was another kid that played a bunch of it, and then that's where I got into it because he's like, "Hey, do you want to play?"
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't sure, but he was like, "Bro, come on, play. We're stuck in here, like we can't do anything. Might as well do something." So then after I got out of the hospital, one of the first things that I got because of my mom, because she knows I like playing games a lot, was a Game Boy, and then it took a while, and then I got PlayStation 2, and that's where I got into Dragon Ball. That's where I started playing because that's honestly my favorite game was Dragon Ball Budokai. Like the series and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Bro, I got into that, and also the Tenkaichi series. I was just like, I saw that. I was like, bro. Hey, I'm a Dragon Ball fan.
That's a 2D spiral, right?
Yeah, yeah,
you
bro.
Just, like, go up and down.
They go up and down.
Yeah.
Combos, crazy. I loved it. The story was awesome too. It was honestly, that's what gaming honestly kind of saved me. I will admit, because there was times where I was like on my lowest, and then that kept me smiling. Also my mom too, but because she's also the one who helped me with getting some gaming stuff, bro. And the one thing I will admit, I didn't realize, because I was in middle school. I didn't know my mom actually played Street Fighter. I challenged her, and I was talking to Mess. I was like, "There's no way you know how to play this."
She beat you.
She beat me. Yeah. Bro, she knows the combos. Don't challenge her. She knows the combos.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then that's honestly, video games are just so awesome because we go into their own story, their own worlds, like that someone made for other people to enjoy. So I always think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your story now, though.
But mine is more simplistic compared to everybody else, or at least I would think so. It just, one day, my sister showed up with the N64. I was like, "Hey, what's that?" She's like, "Look, game." I'm like, okay, what does this mean to me? So she gives me the control. She did the thing where she gave me the controller, but it's not plugged in. So I'm just like, whoa, this is sick. And so the first game I actually ever played when she allowed me to play was Zelda. And so it was kind of weird because I didn't know what I was doing. And just like many of us, when we first tried a game, I was just running in circles like, what do I do? And so I'm there for like 3 hours, and she's like, bro, you haven't moved. And I was like, what do you want me to do? So then she slowly like taught me how to play the game. And after that, just like how your mother saw that you played the game, my dad taught me play the game, and he's like, if I give him this, he's going to do bad in school. But he's going to look like he's having fun. So he's like, I'm just going to do it. So then he got me a PlayStation. And I really enjoyed the PlayStation 2 because I played, I don't know if you guys heard of it, Ratchet and Clank. That was one of my very first games. I really love Ratchet and Clank. And then my brother's like, I want to be different. So then he got a 360, Xbox 360. And so then that's, to me, where the console wars started happening. So I was like, I like PlayStation. But then I got onto the 360. I was like, never mind, I like Xbox. And then now, we fast forward to now, I kind of dropped a lot of money on a computer. And so now I'm playing on the computer. So after everything, like you said, it saved you. I was in a lot of dark places, and because of the gaming, it got me out of that mental state. And plus, if I never played games, I wouldn't have met you guys or been here. So
that's true. But that wasn't simple. That was heartfelt. What are you talking about?
Well, compare how everybody else started.
No, that was pretty good.
So for me, I grew up with 3 older brothers, so it was just like that's what I was used to. So we would play like obviously like on the earlier like Nintendo consoles, but also like I remember like the PlayStation, like just they would like buy them and stuff like that. And like I think I remember just playing like Need for Speed or like the earlier GTA games with my brothers. And then we also even like at some point like my cousin would come over with his GameCube and Wii, and we would just like play like Shrek.
I should remember that game.
Yeah. Or like on the like the what's it called? It was like the sports and all that.
Wii Sports?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Wii Sports.
I love that. I don't know. That was my favorite one. But
I think Wii was for me. The one with Wii Resort.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I had like the sword thing. That's why. Like,
the thing on the topic of the Wii, the only thing I ever like majority of my hours were on the Wii. I think Wii Maker, or you would make the little avatars. Hours making those.
The thing is, I could never figure out how to use the nunchuck, so I would be confused. I'm like, what is this for? Like, and they would be like, press this button, and I'm just like reading the like letters. And then like I think like just fast forward, like it was a time where it was just like my brothers, like I just stopped playing with them just because they were like the gap. And then I guess back to middle school. Actually, like there's this whole like thing like a giveaway for like perfect attendance, and then I got a Wii U out of that.
What? You're probably like the first. What?
That is a big.
So they had Super Smash Bros on there and Splatoon, and I would grind Super Smash Bros. Like I don't know, I was an addict.
Bro, I just looking at you like a challenge, bro. Like,
it's been a while. It's been a while. Well, and then from there, I kind of went back into like PlayStation 4, and so I would just like ask my brother, oh, like, hey, can I play? Because like he would just have like games for days. And from there, I would play like GTA, GTA 5. I would grind the story modes, and just like stuff like that. And then there's a time where I did take a break. And then like towards like early, like maybe like this past summer, I started playing on my laptop. Or actually even before that, like last fall, I started playing on my laptop. I was like, okay, let's see what it's about, because I heard about Valorant, and I was like, oh, all these people are playing it, and I'm just like, okay, cool, like, let me try it out. And then I became an addict. So fast forward to now, that's all I play. I sleep like 4 hours a day, but it's okay.
As you should.
It's okay. It's worth it, because like you just like meet some nice people on there. Some. But
I mean, like, some.
Just some.
And now Mrs. Floof.
Alright, so for me, in a way, it's a little simple too. So I grew up, obviously I don't have any siblings, but I grew up with my mom's friends' children. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And so they kind of started, getting everything that was popular. They were starting with Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball, Beyblade. And so because, as time goes by, everything popular comes in, and they got Xbox, Wii, so I always started playing with them. And then in elementary school, my friend's big brother, which was like way older, he was in computer science. He liked to fix computers and everything, and he also liked to play games. So in turn, after school, we would always run into like the seniors lab, and we go in, we knock, and we're like, hey, can we play? So we would play like Doom and just a bunch of games.
Wait, hold up, Doom?
Guys, Doom is such a classic. I love it. I still love it to this day.
What would you consider that your favorite game?
I had good memories from it, so I would. But now I'm addicted like her to Val.
So right now, what would you classify as your favorite game?
All time.
Valorant right now.
Valorant?
Yeah, I'd have to say. I'm sorry.
Out of all the games, Valorant.
Hey, I'm getting back into it. Yeah.
Okay, no, you had something to say. What do you mean, listen? What's your favorite game?
American Truck Simulator.
American Truck Simulator?
That's out of pocket.
It's because, okay, so I prefer, like, simulator games or, like, like, story, like, based games, but I play a lot of FPS.
Okay, in my mind, I'm like, FPS, where does the truck simulator
I just enjoy it. It's like there's no rules. Like you can just drive at like 90 miles per hour. Not that I suggest it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. It's just like very vibey. Like you don't stress about it. You don't be sweating. Like in Valorant, like oh my god, you have to be like checking all your corners, like making sure the like chamber doesn't headshot you from across the map. So yeah.
But on the topic of that, I think my favorite game of all time. Yeah, because for the Halo franchise, I played all of them, and Halo 3 ODST is my favorite, although a lot of people don't like it. But I also played Smite for 7 years and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for like 8 years. So if I had to pick between those three, I think I would say probably Halo 3 ODST, primarily because of the OST. And if people who don't know what OST is, that's basically the game music. And so the game music in that game, it just takes me to another place.
The saxophone.
I just realized what OST means.
No my.
I was like, OST.
It's the music score. It's
the original soundtrack.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, and who says you can't learn anything from a podcast?
Right.
The more you know.
Honestly, I don't really know. It's a hard one for me. And but at the same time, I think I know which one I'm gonna pick. It's probably gonna be.
I was like, don't say Smash.
No, well, I like that game. I'm sorry, it's not my favorite though.
Staring you down.
Bro, what's it called? I think it's gonna be Dragon Ball related, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna be Dragon Ball Xenoverse, because that one, it was like one of the best. Like when I first played the game, it was like one of the first ones where you get to make your own Dragon Ball character. I was like, bro, this is awesome, and I was just like. It was a blast because I love RPGs. Like I always love playing those games, and especially when you get to make your own character and all that. And I got to make my own Dragon Ball character, and I was like, "Bro, let's go!" And but luckily I didn't name him Rosie. I named him. I don't know what I named him. I named him something cool though. It's just like probably Fernando. I don't know. That's a cool name. That's my story though. Yeah, I'm not good with names though. I will admit. What about you, Edgar? What's your favorite? It better not be Smash.
He's like,
I actually hate Smash.
He's like, let me go through the list.
I feel it's like a second part of me, like probably Persona 3.
Oh, Persona.
Oh, that's a good one.
Persona series is really
the
good.
music box too. It's good.
Mostly because I remember one night I was like desperate in finding PSP games because I picked up my old dusty PSP.
Oh, yeah.
And I did the magic with it that I cannot talk about for legal reasons. And I remember Joker. And I was like, if it's 5, what happened?
Like with the rest. Honestly, that's me too. Because I started with 5 and then I went down the list.
So I sourced 3 specifically because it had a PSP title. Yeah. And I remember it being like 3 a.m. or something, not just like tinkering with the PSP.
Not going to bed.
Yeah, not going to bed, and then loading up probably like the first battle. That was my first experience with like JRPGs in general, and it just blew me away. Like both like the music.
Do you still play JRPGs or not?
I still play JRPGs. Yeah. But that was a big moment for me, probably.
Those are good ones, honestly. JRPG.
Oh, yeah, 100% underrated.
Dude, because I know Persona 3 is like hard for Persona games. Like 5 is supposed to be a cakewalk. 4 is supposed to be and then 3, I know like there's like a table or something. It's like supposed to be broken.
It was just missing like a bunch of features, like a bunch of quality of life things they did in 4 and 5, like the AI.
Oh
for so yeah.
I know the AI is crazy.
You had to rely on AI that would like do the weirdest like actions, like they would heal you when they're probably like wasting away.
Right? Yeah.
The AI,
bro.
Yeah.
Wait, so I didn't play. I will admit I didn't play on the PSP, so I don't really. I don't. I'm sorry, Jacob.
Get out.
I didn't play it, but I heard a lot of good games on there. Though,
Ooh, tough. There are like so many games that have like a lot of memories associated with it, like Minecraft or Animal Crossing, especially during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
I played a lot of Siege as well, so but I have like a love-hate relationship with Siege.
Yeah. That's how most competitive games go.
That's Rainbow, right?
Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah, I think it has to be. This is like totally unrelated. Maybe I think it's Gary's mod.
I haven't played that. I'm actually kind of down to play that.
I guess it's because like you
can. So this is maybe a hot take, but Gary's mod is what Roblox wants to be.
I can see it. No,
Actually,
I
honestly,
100% see it.
yeah. Bro, I dare you to tell them. Oh wait, what happened?
No, I just trying to think what he
Because
said.
like as you all know, like Gary's mod is you can do anything as long as you know how to code the game.
Yeah.
I personally, and it's a little embarrassing. I did a lot of roleplay in Gary's mod.
it's
Like
okay.
like I did like a lot of Star Wars roleplay, and it was the most fun thing like I could ever like think about.
Yeah.
I have the high ground.
Yeah. But I would be like a little clone, like even though like clones are just faceless in the movies, like now I'm like, man, I'm my own clone, and like I can make my own story, and it would just be fun, and I really like miss those times, I guess.
Yeah.
Bro, Dungeons and Dragons is cool. Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
I do love,
D&D.
I do love D&D as well. Like I do play D&D.
Nice.
I don't play that, but I am down to play that. So who knows?
Oh yeah.
So for me, favorite games. So I mean, I normally tell people I don't have a favorite game just because like I actually didn't think about my favorite games until someone asked me the question for the first time, and I was like, wait, we can have favorites, you know? But I mean, after you asked me that question, I started thinking about it. I think the two games I'd say are in first place for me are a game that came out in 2020, I don't remember. It came out recently though. It was Tales of Arise.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that is a good one. Heard it.
And then another game that came out in 2016. I think it was 2016. Nier Automata. And I think of those two, Nier Automata might be my number one, right? But Tales of Rise is great, but it has to be Nier just because. Oh my
I
god!
have a question on Tales of Rise because not even just to say this, but recently, within the past month, I've been looking about getting it. Does that have a series?
Yeah, there's a series.
Okay.
They're not connected though. So it's
I was debating getting into it, and I saw a lot of gameplay, and it's something that I was be interested. So I usually wait for it to be on sale on Steam.
Yeah.
So as you're talking about it, I'm guessing you would recommend it.
Oh yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's a great game. But at least for me, like Nier, right? I'd say I'm gonna put it over Tales of Rise in this case, just because to pick one. And bro, Nier got me in my feels. Like no game has ever put me in my feels like that. Like.
Oh wait, I think I know what you're talking about. It's the music though. It's like the weight of the world, right? I've heard the OC.
Something like that. Yeah. And it's like not even the music really. It's just things that happen in the game. Like, bro, I was in there playing the game, and these are robots, right? Robots, like they don't know nothing, right? They have the robot over here, like a little small robot, and a bigger robot.
I Robot, bro.
That movie was my childhood.
You got a bigger robot there, bro. That bigger robot was like dead on the ground or something. Yeah. Right? And he's a little robot trying to pour oil on it, saying, "Get up, please." I'm like, oh my god, no. And like,
honestly, I'm not gonna lie. What's it called? I've heard of the game, but I haven't played that one because I was thinking about that. But I might play it now just because I want to see that scene now.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's like I'd say it's a great game overall, and like just it really hits like emotion wise, and I mean the gameplay is really fun too. Characters are cool, and just oh my god, like again, that game's the only game I think I've ever played that actually made me sit there and cry at the end. Like I was sitting there like, bro, why am I crying? It's not that serious. It's a game, is it, bro? It was just amazing though.
It definitely moved you. Video game. I mean, a lot of games in my past playing or prior. I played a lot that I'm just like one day I'm vibing, the next day I'm just like, bro, why am I feeling this type of way, right? And then like I don't know if you guys played Gears of War, but in the Gears of War franchise, I think it was in 2 or no, it was in 3. One of the main characters, Dom, ended up sacrificing himself to save everybody else.
R.I.P. Dom.
And the music started playing. Sorry, just it's
like a 10-year game.
The music started playing all around me. Right?
Oh.
And then I was like, no, this is not a good sign. And then it happened, and I was like,
what? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was gonna ask what other games have made you cry.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Okay, well,
I actually got one.
Wait, before anything, define cry. Like crying and like
but
sad,
not
or like
eyes,
I'm upset
like,
crying,
or like
like
horror
yeah, like
crying.
you're sitting there like dang.
You
felt that. You felt that.
No, actually, I got one. It's the original Red Dead Redemption on the PlayStation 3.
Oh,
bro, it was with John Marston because you're with the guy. Spoiler warning. But it was like towards the end of the game. It's like the main character you play with him like throughout everything. You go thick and thin to like basically like get your family back, and you get them back. But in there, it's like you're going against like corrupt government people, and they want you dead, and they're like they do get you dead. And I was like in the final like moments, literally you have to like try to shoot like 5 other like or not like 50 like it's a lot. It's like an army basically. You're not gonna get out. It's one guy. It's a little realistic. And I was like, I tried like 5 times replaying that mission, trying to get him out of there. I was like, just live, bro. Just live. And then I was like, nah. At one point I accepted and I cried because literally like he was like dead on his feet. And I was like, no, please. And I was just like, it was over and I was like, I hit hard. No, okay, I'm good. I'm over it now.
Have you guys? I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard of Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
But there's a game that came out not too long ago called SAO Alicization, and it's like a RPG-ish type of game where you grind and then you play through the story. Well, they introduced a new character that's not canon to SAO, but it's for the game. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, "That's my waifu, right?" So the story was progressing, and there was this one scene, spoiler ahead, where she kind of turned evil, and then it was as the protagonist, right? I have to go save her because that's what MCs do in anime. So I was like, all right, we got to go save her, and then we save her, but then she ends up sacrificing herself to save everybody again, and that hit. I was just like, because I grew attached to it, because I was like, no, dude. I was like, please,
I just saved you.
Yeah, and like, I knew what was gonna happen before it happened. I was screaming. I was like, no, please don't. It happens, and I'm just like.
I'm actually in tears. It's because we're like saying, "Oh, like what made you cry?" And I was there was this one quest in Genshin. I get it. Oh my gosh. And the dude, like, he just like for like so that anything would like everything else wouldn't die, like just to save like basically what's left. I remember I was so devastated. I was like. I was sitting there. I was like, no. I like the moment he was running towards it. I was like, no. And then he just dies, and I'm just like, broken.
Dude, I'm having a hard time to believe that because this is coming from a gacha game.
Wait, quick question. What's your world rank in Genshin right now?
49, but that's because I took a big like break.
That's high.
That's
really
me. I played it for a little bit because I was curious about it. I got to like 15, 20 area. It's still like double what I have, bro.
Listen, you just have when you have free time in your hands.
You grind it.
I don't know, bro. You said Sword Art Online, so there's so.
That's where you lost me.
I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm kind of. I have to look at both sides here.
Okay, no. Since you're targeting me, I'm gonna take out my rage, alright? Because recently. I've been playing this game called Overwatch, right?
I like how he looked at me.
Continue. I'm looking at you guys because you guys play Overwatch.
Overwatch.
There's this thing in there called the Battle Pass. I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of
Yeah.
this. I despise the Battle Passes.
I don't blame you. I can't blame you. Like, when they first started popping up, I was like, bro, what is this? Like,
the reason I bring up Overwatch is because prior they didn't have a Battle Pass. They had loot boxes, which are microtransactions. And so they switched over to battle passes because the entire freaking game industry has battle passes. And so when they brought that in, I was just like, I get it, but I was like, they just want money. So that's why I really hate it, but I know people like it.
I think the only reason they even went to battle passes was because Overwatch 2 is supposed to be free. So like they still need ways to make money because I mean you're not gonna sell more copies of a game that you just turned into the second version, right?
Yeah.
So it's like for Overwatch, I get it. But I don't like it. Like the loot boxes were definitely better for Overwatch in the sense that you got them every level. I mean, who bought loot boxes in Overwatch in the first place, right? Like I don't think I've ever heard of
streamers.
Free to play.
And it was really that has to be the only people because I've never heard of anyone who actually said, "Oh yeah, I spent money on loot boxes." Like
no, you don't hear that.
Yeah,
you could get them, right? Like you could.
Yeah, you could.
Unless it's like some sort of advertisement.
Yeah.
But like even at that, it's just not.
There's no reason to buy
wasn't
them.
worth it.
I don't play Overwatch though, so I don't know the.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Oh wait, before we continue though, wait, did you say what game made you cry? I just realized.
Oh,
Our fault.
I mean, there wasn't really one. I mean, there was one, but I forgot the name of it. It was like It was kind of like cyber, where people make these like robots human, and like.
Oh, Detroit Become Human.
No, not cyberpunk.
Wait,
But,
Detroit Become Human.
yeah. That one made me cry. That one really did make me cry.
Oh, that was a good one though.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to Edgar. Sorry, bro. The battle passes.
Oh, battle passes. I think they implemented it in a way, like Alex said, that it was beneficial because it's a free game.
That's true.
They're not gonna make any money out of it.
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind of, I don't know, the like data or
yeah.
I don't know, that stuff. But there's probably some other thing than just
Just money.
just money
money.
that they're
Oh,
making.
Because right now that you mention it, I guess I can see that viewpoint because although I see it more as like a money laundering thing, for the people they also have like for usually some battle packs they have two tracks where one is free to play and one is you pay for. So I guess I see your point because they do incentivize players who play casually to play a little bit more because they get free rewards. But in my mind, it's also like, well, you see the battle pass and you like the battle pass.
Like you want it.
You want it. So it's just like,
Couldn't be me.
But at the end of the day, it comes. It's your option whether you want to pay for it or not.
So for me, I'm a little conflicted, right?
Yeah.
So a battle pass that I really, really enjoy is Halo, the Master Chief Collection battle pass, because you can, the season can end, and then you can just continue your battle pass. And then you can just move on to the next one. And so with Overwatch, it's like any other battle pass. Like there's the free track, and then there's the premium track, and which you have to spend money for. And I just felt it's a little lackluster, the premium track, because I was on Twitter and I saw that they have some Cyberpunk skins that are going to be only in the shop. And again, that's how they need to make their money, is the battle pass or the shop. But people are not happy with the shop either because it's expensive. All of it is expensive.
If we're talking expensive though, when it comes to battle passes, the one that I don't really play the game, but I understand it. I almost played the game because of recent put the thing they put in there, which was Fortnite. They put Dragon Ball in there. I was thinking, I don't play this game, but that Dragon Ball skin, I was like, bro, it almost got me. Almost got me.
Fortnite, I instantly just.
Oh, I know.
He just dissociated.
I know. That's the game known for battle passes, though.
Just for clarity, he brought up Halo Master Chief Collection Battle Pass comparative to all the other ones because usually a Battle Pass, when it launches, you have, let's say, 30 days to finish it.
Yeah.
If you do not finish it, they cut you off. Even though if you just paid for it the day beforehand, they cut you off.
True.
The thing with Master Chief Collection is, let's say there's 5 Battle Passes. Once it's over, they stay there so you can keep grinding them. So it's not like you lost your money. So the reason I bring that up is, do you guys think the other Battle Passes prior to Master Chief Collection are worth it? Like Battle Pass, for example, for Overwatch. Do you think it's worth it or not worth it?
So, like, it depends. It really depends what is in the Battle Pass. Because Apex Legends has Battle Pass, and sometimes the Battle Pass is amazing. Like, oh my gosh, God tier skins. But then there's, meh.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and this is going to Valorant. Like, sometimes the Battle Pass, I love the skins in it. And then the one with Neon, I have a Vandal skins that's just red. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. And the only, cool skins that I got out of it, they look like orange and they're kind of race car-y. But I only have it for, 3 guns. It's it's just my Spectre, and I have a knife. And I'm like, man, was this really worth it? I really loved the game at that time. And I'm like, man, was that really worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah. Another one I want to bring up is CODs, Battle Passes. So I don't know if any other games do this, but in that one, it feels like a one-time purchase because the Battle Pass is like 1,000 of their currency. I think it's like hot votes.
You said $1,000.
It would be like what?
$10. $10.
Oh, okay.
But
I was like,
no.
I mean, some people have spent
Who's
$1,000
spending
on stuff.
$1,000
Right?
But
If
in
you
the
spend
premium
$1,000 on
track,
Battle Pass, you deserve to be skinned.
in each milestone, if you could look at it beforehand, you would see that you literally earn back what you paid for. And the point of that is to use it for the next one.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got you.
So, I think another game they try to play is that they give you all these coins back, and it's up to you if you want to buy
Getting a little extra to purchase it.
purchase the next one or buy yourself, one of their separate packs, bundles. But then that means if you want to hop back into the next one, you need to pay another $10. So do you think there's some kind of manipulation that they want to do?
Kind of. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, and then again, just to clarify that point, in the Battle Pass for COD, you waste, let's say, $10. They give you not $10 worth of their currency, but a little bit less. so that you save up and you basically have like, let's say 100 more that you need to have in order to buy the next battle pass. So he was saying that they do that so that if you really want the next battle pass, you're incentivized to pay another $3 to purchase the remaining COD points to buy it. So to answer your question, yes, 100% manipulated, because although the feeling of getting your money's worth is in there,
right,
you're still paying now an extra more than the $10 there you originally paid, so you can get the next battle pass, and then the cycle continues. So then it's just like, yeah, I think it's really manipulative. I don't think that one is worth it, but hot take, I think the Overwatch battle pass 100% is worth it. Although you can do free to play, I feel like they give you a decent amount of stuff, and some battle passes are depending on the game. Like for example, COD's not that long, but in Modern Warfare, the one prior, it would be 100 tiers, and then some battle passes they do 30 tiers. So it also depends on how long it is and what they have inside. So like you were saying.
So going on to the Overwatch battle pass, I can really see why people would buy it, especially if you're new coming into Overwatch. You don't have any skins.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why people would buy it. I feel like there's two improvements that I think that could happen. They could add more skins to it, especially since they're going for a cyberpunk theme with the battle pass. Why did they shelve all the other ones just to put in the store? And then another one, they could have the currency in the battle pass, because the rate in which we get the currency is very minuscule. You really have to spend money in order to get it. And I know you don't like Fortnite, but Fortnite is very forgiving. I got into it in the summer because they added Boba Fett to it.
Bro,
I love Star Wars.
Get into it because of Dragon Ball. They're kind of they almost reeled me in, bro.
I bought the battle pass and I got all my credits, and then I got the next one because they added Darth Vader, and so I don't have to buy a battle pass anymore because they added.
Wait, I know.
Okay.
I know you play Valorant a lot. Do you have the battle pass for Valorant?
If I had the money, that one knife, like right now, is looking really pretty.
Okay, so here's a question: do you think it would be worth it? Like personally, do you think it would be worth it?
Okay, so here's the thing: they do give you like a good amount of time to like grind it out.
Yeah.
But obviously, you're not gonna sit there like. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I sit there for hours. Let's be real. I sit there for hours, but it's just like sometimes it's just like, is it worth it? Because there's some things like that I like even now, like I see them, I'm just like, do I really want this? Why would I pay for this if I probably wouldn't even like equip it? Yeah. But also like just overall battle passes, they kind of just like, I'm over it. Cause I used to like.
It's because she has Genshin.
There's a battle pass in Genshin. There's a battle pass in Genshin.
Okay. We don't talk about that one.
Is that one worth it?
I think
No, that's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not.
But I just think overall, because before I even played with my laptop, I used to like be like a mobile gamer a lot. So I would play, of course, like Clash of Clans, Heyday, because my mom got me into it. And it's just like seeing how they added this like feature of the battle pass, kind of like I was like, why would you do that? Like, it was just a question of like, are they like getting enough money, or is it just to like fit in with like all these other games that are implementing the battle pass? And personally, sometimes I don't feel it's worth it, because it's like you can easily go to their shop and like buy like the amount of like coins you would get if you grinded for this long.
Yeah.
So it was just like, for me, it's like it's not really that worth it. It's just more so annoying because it's just like it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What do they even have in the Clash of Clans battle?
Actually, that's the thing. I was like,
besides like
so at the very end, they give you like a skin for like one of the heroes, where it's like the king or the queen, I think. And then like throughout, they just give you like gold or dark elixir or like gems, and then if you pay like a little bit, like, because there's like the free one obviously, right, but they don't really give you that like good stuff. Yeah. So if you do pay, it's just like they give you like bonus stuff, but it's like things you can easily like grind for, or like just buy off their shop. So it's just like, is it really worth it? Not really.
Yeah. So you know what's funny for me, at least, with battle passes? So there's like a brief moment where I played Fortnite, and I got the battle pass, and I was like, "Oh, I want to play this and get to the end of it." Didn't do it, of course. Yeah. Wasted $10. I was like, I'm never doing that again. And but for me, right, but battle passes in most games, even Overwatches, I'm like halfway through it, and I'm over it. I kind of just don't want to keep going. I got the Mercy skin and was like, I'm good. Because like I ended up getting the battle pass with the game because I got the watch point pack because I thought Overwatch 2 you'd have to pay for it. Yeah. So I got the watch point pack and I was like, are you serious? I didn't have to
pay for it.
Then they had the cross save and my save data from place. That's a whole other story. My whole point with it is like Overwatch is right. I'm halfway through it and I'm like, okay, I really don't care for this, right? But there, for me, there are other games like card games, Yu-Gi-Oh, Master Duel, and Legends of Runeterra, which is basically League's card game. Yeah, it's their version of Hearthstone, and I completed the battle pass on those like that. Like it's really simple for me to do. They do the same thing that Fortnite does, where they give you the amount that you would pay for back, so you can get the next battle pass, right? And along with obviously other things. Yeah. But I don't really know. I guess for me, it's more grindable in card games. Yeah. Because I mean, you look at Fortnite, where you have to go do very specific things to go raise that battle pass. Yeah. And you could play. And for me, Yu-Gi-Oh and whatnot, it's really just playing games. Okay. The more games you play, the more it'll go up, and eventually you'll complete it no matter what, as long as you play the game.
Okay. So, Erica, do you have anything for the battle pass? Because there's something I really want to bring up.
I mean, I totally did not just get the battle pass. No.
You spent 1,000 on there and dropped another 1,000. Is that what happened? I'm sorry.
That was the face of someone who spent money on the game.
So in your heart to heart, do you think it's worth it?
There's some that it's really just getting skins. Honestly, I mean, if you really like that skin, and it's to die for, I guess you could go for it. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I don't know. And it really just depends on you.
So we're talking about all these games, and this brings me up to something different that I kind of noticed, and it's a trend. So Overwatch 2, Genshin, even the new Modern Warfare, all their graphics have kind of gone down.
Really?
And the reason behind that is because
I'm sorry.
I don't know if it kind of goes on.
She literally was like, "Are you real?"
Look, no.
I'm with the comics here.
And the reason I can back this up is because not to talk trash about our computers that we have. Thank you, our sponsor and everything. But we have a Radeon 570 graphics card in the computer here, right? Right. That is very outdated. Yeah. But I was able to play the newest COD on max settings at above 70 FPS, which is beforehand unheard of on the older CODs. Yeah. So even Cold War has started seeing lower graphics, and the reason I'm thinking about this is because all the games, which I believe suck in the terms of where they're heading, is everything is getting competitive. So the reason I feel like they're putting the graphics down is so that they get a higher FPS. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have a question for all of you. Do you guys prefer graphics or do you guys prefer FPS? Like, and to clarify, FPS meaning, do you want the game to run more smoothly but look like a potato, or do you want it to look like
playing Valorant on an average day? Yeah.
I think it's different. I think it depends what kind of game you're talking about. Yeah. So with Valorant and Genshin, the reason they make them like that is so they can run on everything. Yeah. Because the Genshin's even like on the phone.
On the mobile.
Yeah, on the phone. And if I'm correct, doesn't Valorant have like the same thing like League? Like, you can play this like any. Anywhere you want. And I can add that one into too. Yeah. League. Yeah.
See, League's a bit of a different case because unlike Genshin or I believe Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel too, because they have animations and whatnot. Yeah.
Not a lot though, kind of like.
And a bunch of other games that are on mobile, League decided to basically remake their game and put it on mobile. It wasn't like they ported it like Genshin, right? It's like basically it's the same game basically. Yeah. League, they redid their game, proceeded to add functions to the game, like quality of life adjustments that aren't in their actual like PC game, and then like characters are literally adjusted. So they have a bunch of characters in the game right now, not the full roster. Yeah. But when they add characters and the characters they already have added, they're adjusted to literally fit mobile. Oh. Like I use one guy named Timo. He's a little rat. I hate the guy.
That's cute.
No.
Jeez.
Timo used to.
I feel bad for all the mains out there that use that.
If you main Timo, you know your problem.
Boy, that face though, you made him.
No, I don't play League.
He's offended on behalf of everyone who does.
Yeah.
Like Timo, right? So he has one ability where he just speeds himself up. That's it, right? Now in the PC version of League, that's not a problem. Him speeding himself up is annoying, but it's like it's faster. In the mobile version of League, his speed up is now a dash because of how mobile works. You want to dash instead of moving faster, and it's just for me. It's like when it comes to games that are graphics wise, right, mobile to console or PC. League is not the best example because there's this wild. They call this Wild Rift, which is just they don't even call it League at that point. And to be honest, it looks better. Like if we're looking graphics wise, wow, the mobile version looks better than the PC version. And it's just crazy because it's like it's not the best example in terms of graphics for mobile to PC, just because again they remade their game for it. Everyone knows League's been around for over 10 years.
Yeah, I was like to say it's like a century, bro.
That's like a whole other like rabbit hole because everyone suddenly stopped. But like I want to say like 2 years ago, everyone wanted to like bring their games to mobile. Like COD came, and then like Dead by Daylight came, like and then now Apex came.
Yeah, bro.
But to be honest, I never hear about them ever again. Like after that, I never hear about them after they drop. I think they gain most traction of like the shock factor, like this is coming to mobile, and then after they come out, like I never hear about them again.
I think primarily with me, if I had to go between either two, I would prioritize more of a smooth game comparison to graphically demanding, because a recent game that came out, big hit, Elden Ring. You have the insane graphic settings, but even with the best computers, you still lag spiking a lot of points in the game where you drop to like 30 FPS, and at that point, it's not fluid. Especially with a game like Dark Souls and Dark Souls type games, where every single like point of FPS matters, because if you can't see an enemy, like for example, hit you with a sword, you can't time your roll, so then he hits you and you're dead.
Because I know for Elden Ring, especially Elden Ring, when it first dropped, I think it's much better now apparently, but I don't play Elden Ring on PC. I play it on console. Because for console, it was fine, completely fine. You could choose to prioritize frame rate or graphics, and honestly, there wasn't that big of a difference. But I know for PC, there were actual like problems, like in how the game ran. I think they fixed them again, so I'm not sure because I don't play it on PC.
They locked it to 60 FPS on PC because you can use controllers, so basically you can do cross-plats with console players.
Dude, is it? I don't think they have cross-platform.
No, but they made it to that because they're working towards it.
Okay.
So they already locked it on 260 FPS, which I understand, but it's like if we're not there yet, then why make us suffer?
Right.
And the reason I brought up this whole entire thing is because I don't know if you guys watch a lot of pro players and stuff. You know, I'm not gonna say they earn bank, but they have money, so they have beastie PCs, but yet they still decide to lower all the graphics to like potato because they want their game to run really smooth. So that's why I was asking.
I guess.
You go first.
But when it comes to the graphics versus the FPS, I think it's like you mentioned, like it depends like what kind of gamer you are. Because like if you like RPGs, I guess you want the graphics to look good because you're not going against someone else. I feel like when you want FPS, it's almost because like
competitive.
Like you want every advantage, even if it's like a millisecond. You want that advantage, especially if you're playing something like Val, because like whoever gets it first. Yeah, I mean that's exactly. So I guess for me, it depends. Like depends on what I'm playing. If I'm playing an RPG, I want graphics. If I'm playing competitive like Val, I want FPS.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you had to choose one of the two,
I guess because we're in esports, we are competitive here. I would go for FPS. I want every advantage I can take.
True. Same here.
Oh, back to you, Phil.
Yeah. I would say that because in my time in PUBG and right now in COD, in PUBG I would turn it all the way down. Yeah. All the time. Especially more because of foliage, but they went around that. I started turning it down. I realized that like it didn't really change that much. So they kind of realized what we were doing. And then with COD, it's actually a really big deal right now because if you're running on an NVIDIA setup, you actually cannot play the game right now. Yeah, it is crashing.
I'm running into that right now.
Non-stop. I can when I come here, it's the only time I can play.
You can play it.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that we have those type of computers. But the thing is, I can still run it at a decent amount. Like he was talking about the Nvidia stuff. Yeah, I had to roll back my drivers in order to play it or play a previous version of it, which sucks. But even at that, you're still getting terrible.
And to add to that, like even in COD, it's a new game, and even though it's not realistic, they try to add like a bunch of like flares, and I turned down like all the anything shadows, anything blur. I turned everything down. So even if I was here and I could run it at quality, I always still like turn it down to minimum. So to answer your question, FPS.
Now, as the two laptop players, this is a big question for you guys. Yeah. Graphics or FPS?
FPS.
Dang, that was quick.
I mean, mobile wise, graphics.
Yeah. But like, if it's on my laptop, FPS, because especially when I play Valorant, they'll be like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you like glitching out?" I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying. I'll be like, "Oh, the last one standing." I was like, "No." But like, definitely FPS.
Did you say mobile's graphics?
Like,
no.
No,
100%. I agree because when I have a mobile game, I don't know why I'm contemplating and thinking why my mobile should have PC graphics, but I want that, right? So on the mobile,
Like, I don't mind. It's not the big deal. But then it's like you're playing Valorant and then you trying to clutch and then you start lagging really bad and it's just like they're right in front of you and you don't see them till like 5 seconds later you're already dead. So.
But also the thing about mobile is just anything with good graphics will drain your battery.
Oh yeah.
Genshin? Oh my god, my phone turns into like a frying pan.
It does, yeah.
Like just like
30 minutes later it's dead.
So I'm a gamer at heart and I wanted to get the ROG Strix gaming phone to play mobile games at higher FPS and stuff. So my tablet and phone right now can play Genshin at 60 FPS, but if you guys pay attention to the settings, it tells you like if it'll get hot. As soon as I switch it from 30 to 60 FPS, but every other setting graphic wise is at low, it goes from perfect blue to freaking red. Like it's gonna burn. So it's just like I wish we lived in a world where my phone can run Elden Ring.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know how y'all play mobile games.
Wait, like, really? You play Yu-Gi-Oh? What are you talking about?
He's calling you out.
I'm sorry.
It's not on my phone though. I only play it on the PC or on my laptop at the hotel, right? But bro, can't play games on my phone. Like, at least for me, especially, I have an iPhone 6, right? Nothing runs. But before, like when I was younger, right, I used to be able to play.
Sorry.
I used to be able to play them on my phone or on my phone when I was younger. Like it was fun, but like now, like I kind of my phone has like no games, bro. Like I tried to download the game and I was like, how would I play this? I have any other game on my PlayStation or PC to play.
That's fair, honestly.
That was just my thought process because I'm like, if I'm out somewhere, I don't really need to be playing the game. I could do anything else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think to close it out, I want to talk about because it reminded me when I talked about PUBG because it's different in its case of money making, and if you play these other games, you might be familiar with it. So PUBG has this thing called Prime or Plus.
Oh.
And then CS:GO has this one called Prime.
Yeah.
Which is just a one-time payment.
Oh, it's a subscription.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. But they bar a lot of essential things.
So like a subscription.
Off the bat, yeah.
So I don't have that much of a take on this because I think it's relatively simplistic to answer, especially in my terms, is if you're going to pay for a game that's a subscription base, you pay for it. Simple as that, because you want to play the game. That's that.
For me,
dang, that was quick. Okay.
If we're talking, should you or are subscriptions worth it, or like should you have them in games?
Yeah.
But if we're talking subscriptions, my take on it is this is one game I haven't gotten into it because you need like a subscription at a certain level. Is Final Fantasy 14 online? Yeah, that's like they know what they're doing because they know players like people love that game so much they will pay like the full subscription, and it's actually kind of pricey I think to me because I want to say it's at least like 15, 20. It's almost like Netflix, almost like you're paying for Netflix. That's why I'm thinking like, man, people must really love that game.
And that's why I say it's a simplistic answer because you're paying for what you're playing. Right, I get the subscription, and I guess people can correlate it to like if you pay for like a video game that comes out now $60, you get the game, it's yours forever. Yeah. The thing is, with those type of games, they're giving you more than those titles that we get like on consoles per se, like for COD.
That's fair.
For Final Fantasy, for example, you're paying $15 a month but you get a huge game with nonstop updates. And when I mean nonstop updates, they're literally updating it daily and daily and daily. So every time I log back in, I'm just like,
have you played it?
yes, dude, I've grinded it.
He's been there, done that.
Yeah,
I've been there, bro.
so
Who's paying you?
again, going back to saying that's why I think it's simplistic is because if you like it, you pay for it. If you don't pay for it, right? Because nobody's forcing you to pay for it.
Yeah, see, I don't know, for me at least, right? It's pretty much same to a degree. If you like it, pay for it, right? Because for me, it's like if you're gonna pay for something in the game, as long as you think it is worth it and you're not putting yourself in a bad spot by buying it,
Go
no
for
one
it,
cares,
yeah.
right? But for me, subscription wise, I don't think subscriptions in games. I don't think subscriptions should be in any games but MMOs.
Yes,
especially not paid games, because if you like Overwatch, for instance, you spend $60 on Overwatch, then they put a subscription and they're like, oh, you can't do this without paying another $10 a month. Like what? Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 is a different story because they actually made their whole game free up to through the first expansion, which is probably I think one of their best expansions if I remember right.
Yeah, it's like Endwalker or something like that.
Heaven's Ward. Heaven's Ward.
Oh, Heaven. Oh, okay.
It's the first one. Heaven's Ward.
The first one.
Yeah, and then you can you can get the subscription, continue leveling, and do other things, along with the other expansions and all that. Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 is one of those that if you get the subscription, bro, you're set. You're literally
DLC, you get all DLC.
In my opinion, it's especially it comes to with games, time to money. If you buy a $60 game, not all obviously, but RPGs for instance. And not all of them, but some of them. If you buy a $6 game, equate time to money, an hour for every dollar, right? Again, not every RPG 60 hours, so of course that's relative, right? But when it comes to a subscription, when I played Final Fantasy 14, for the free when it was free, 75 plus hours just grinding the game over and over and over again, right? Like it was definitely worth the money, right? Because I got the subscription after, definitely worth it. But yeah, I mean that's really where I stand on it. It's like as long as it's worth it in the sense of you didn't pay for the game in general, and you get it's worth it basically. Like hour to $1 or content $2 basically.
I might get it then. Okay. I mean I see some good points. You guys are kind of convincing me.
But I mean definitely like I say Final Fantasy is a great marker to go off of because again their game is free for 70 plus hours. Like you will spend if you especially if you don't skip story. I skip a lot of story because bro, it's way too long. If you don't skip story up to Heaven's Ward, you're playing plus 100 maybe 150 hours.
Jay, so will you carry me though if I get it,
bro?
Jay, I like how you shook your head like nah, I'm good.
Nah, I mean
fend for yourself,
but nah. I stopped playing the game a while ago just because it's with MMOs especially, it's really time consuming. But again, like it's worth it. Final Fantasy 14, it's worth it. I'll say that 100%.
Question: who here reads dialogue in a game?
No.
I only skip Final Fantasy 14 because of how much it was.
I'm raising my hand. I'll keep it up.
Whoa, okay.
I'll read the dialogue.
That's what YouTube's for. Someone will read it to me.
Oh, dang.
Okay.
In a shortened version.
No, it's actually funny because Final Fantasy 14, right? There's so much content that you have to get through. Because I had to go through the base game of Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward, the one after that. Oh, Stormblood, Shadowbringers. I didn't even get to do Endwalker. I'm like in the middle of Shadowbringers, right? Dude, they don't voice act. You have to read 100 plus hours of that.
I will admit, if I'm streaming it or if I have a video, I probably won't read it. On my own time, I would read it. But if I have like an audience, I won't read it.
I'll read it out loud on the stream. Just because, like, I read out loud in general because like it helps me focus on it, right?
Yeah.
But for a stream, I would definitely read out loud.
What about you, Mecca?
Bro, I didn't know what he said. I was like,
what?
He looked over here and I was like, what?
So
I asked Mecca.
So like, I feel like there's two ways that a subscription-based game could go. So, like WoW every month, or Star Wars: The Old Republic every month you pay, or it's like Destiny.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Destiny. At first, you had to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And then I bought it, and then now it's free. But I can't play certain things unless I buy the expansion pack. So the most prevalent one was Witch Queen. I couldn't play any of the Witch Queen things. Then they released like a dungeon, but in order to play the dungeon, you need a key. Yeah. So,
No, I feel that.
but I understand.
Yeah.
Like just to play the devil's advocate, I understand because the game is free, but we kind of invested a lot in this game, so we got to get our money back.
Yeah, but we gotta pay our workers.
Yeah. I'd say like expansions fall into different categories than subscriptions. At least in my opinion, is it one subscriptions are a monthly, not weekly. If you're paying weekly for anything, you're getting scammed.
Oh yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Monthly, every couple of months, or a monthly, tri-monthly, every half a year, stuff like that, right? Expansions are one time pay. You get everything in the expansion, right? However, my problem for Destiny, at least, because I bought the game on release, Destiny 2, right?
It sucks because then you have to.
It was free 2 years, 3 years later, and I'm like, bro.
You guys kind of got done dirty, huh?
Yeah, but not necessarily. I feel like I got done dirty, but in the sense that like when these expansions are dropping, they're worth $40 almost every time. Granted, there's a lot of content in them. They add some content to them and all that, and that's cool. Yeah. But for me, at least, like, so I'm in the middle. Because Destiny 2, in my opinion, is a giant step up from Destiny 1 in terms of paid content. However, again, I don't like the fact that I bought the game and now I'm still paying for more. I don't mind paying for an expansion. Monster Hunter being an example. The one on PlayStation World, they released Iceborne expansion, $40, which added so much content, and then they're still adding, or they were still adding content to it.
My main was, I was like remembering it. I was like thinking back. I had like flashbacks, like just circling through me.
And then you guys, do you have anything to input about?
Not really. I mean, because I played Destiny for a good while, and I would run into the same problem.
Oh, because
so he basically said what
you were gonna say.
Okay. So then, I think that's we're wrapping it up. It's coming to a close. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
And once again, my name is Jacob.
I'm Fernando.
I'm Edgar.
I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
Casey. Erica.
All right, that's a wrap. See you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.